Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to another episode of our podcast, A New Direction. Today, we'll be talking about the issue of the school. And deliberating on this issue with me, I have Brother Savior.
Good morning.
I have Sister Iti.
Good morning.
We have Brother Kufre.
Good morning.
We have Sister Uduak.
Good morning.
And I myself am Brother David. So today we'll be talking about the issue of the school. And we have a very brief video which we'll be playing. Because listening to the video, we can get to see the structure or the mentality behind the push we all get from parents, from the society at large, on how we have to all go to school. And the essence of that, just as they say, is to prepare you for the future. So we're viewing this little clip, so we start our discussion from there. So let's hit play on it.
Cannot prepare the future for your children. You can only prepare your children for the future. There is nothing you give to a child, it will be wasted. But you can help develop your children into sons, then you have rest. Train up a child in the way that it should go, and when it's grown up, you will not depart from it. No one can successfully prepare the future for his children. Many great names thought so, and they left great fortune for their children, but they wasted them in 1 year, 2 years, some very averagely okay people. After 3 years, they can't find anything again.
Okay, we've watched it. It's quite brief, but we'll be picking up from the Bible passage which he quoted, and that's Proverbs 22 verse 6. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." It's a very common passage we all recite.
Yes.
We quote. I will even call it reciting. We recite it. It's like a mantra. Say, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. And we read that from the Bible.
Yes.
And just as we have been saying on this forum or on this podcast, sometimes it even seems like we are repeating ourselves, but we are not. It's just the level of emphasis that we are pointing to that issue that makes it look like we are trying to always repeat ourselves. No, but it's how important what we are pointing out is. That's why we keep on emphasizing it, and we talk about it as much as we can.
Yes.
And what's that? Is the fact that everything that has been stated inside of this book, which we refer to as the Bible, was made available by the Spirit of the Lord.
Yes.
And at the same time, He alone reserves all right, just as we have in some of our products. We say is all right reserved.
Yeah.
So it's applicable to the Spirit of the Lord as it relates to this book.
Yes.
He reserves all the rights to explain and as well interpret what he has put inside of this book.
Yes.
And as usual, we always still point that out, that we as men, who the Spirit of the Lord introduced into the world, in our nature of sin, our nature of independence, have as usual gone ahead to pick that particular passage, explain it based on our own knowledge and understanding as men, and we act on it still based on our own knowledge and understanding as men.
Absolutely.
Because the Spirit of the Lord who puts that writing there, or that quotation there, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Didn't mention, at least in that passage, who would do the teaching or the training.
Yes.
Though down the line he did, but at that particular time, he didn't mention who would do the training.
Yes.
It's just stated here, I train up a child in the way he should go.
Yeah.
And as usual, we as men now,
In that particular scripture.
in that particular scripture, have now come up with a way we want the children to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Without anybody asking or trying to verify this way which we find ourselves going. Because as a parent, you are put down that same lane. Then down the line, you get your own kids and you put them down that same path as well. So nobody has taken a pause to ask, this path we all have been towing, how do we verify, how do we confirm that this path is the right path? No one is asking that question. And that's because it wasn't given to us to think like that and ask those questions. Because if those questions were to be asked, then reasonings would come up.
Yes.
But because the Spirit knows that reasonings will come up if He allows certain kind of questions to be asked, He blocked us from thinking towards that aspect or that angle.
Yes.
But lately, we get to see that certain kinds of reasonings are popping up here and there. Everyone now is asking questions. Everyone is beginning to see, not necessarily everyone, but a lot of people are now starting to see loopholes. Are starting to see lapses in our system.
Yes.
And that's only coming because, just as we have been saying, there's someone on ground who the Spirit of the Lord has always programmed to step in and change the situation for man.
Yes.
And it's because of His presence that certain things have been triggered. Because we all have been moving under this same foundation and living under the same foundation for decades, for centuries.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Yes.
But recently, all of a sudden, questions are now popping up. So, but today we are dwelling on the issue of the school. And when we talk about the school, we have also said that it's how to prepare the children for the future.
Yeah.
So, a child is born, and the first thing that's in the parent's mind is to groom the child to a certain point, then he's thrown into the school system.
Yeah.
And the school system is supposed to bring up the child in the way that the child will be acceptable by the system,
Yes.
not by God. Because the system is being run by man.
Yes.
So basically, what the school system does is to indoctrinate you into the system of man.
Yes.
It teaches you and shows you how you should live and continue to live as man.
Yes.
That's what the school system does.
Yeah.
But from what he quoted from Proverbs, say train up a child. And the question is, the school you have sent the child to, is that where he should get that training that he should hold on to, so he doesn't depart from it when he gets old? That's a very valid question that we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't bring ourselves into the world, definitely there was someone who brought us, and he definitely had a purpose for which he brought us.
Yes. You see why we always say that the things that belongs to God, there is no way a man can access the things of God without God. Because you see in that Bible portion that is written, they train up the child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he shall not depart from it. As a man, we look at the word child to be that the children that you have, you understand, the child that you have to train in the way she go. In that case, different children has different abilities or the talents. So you have to tell this one you have to be a doctor, or this one you have to be a lawyer, or whatever the profession you want the person to go. But looking at this thing, this is coming from the Lord, the Spirit. This Bible was designed by the Spirit of the Lord, and the things here cannot be carried out by men. You understand? It has to be the one that this thing is written about, which is, as it stated, they say the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. That means there's somebody that was appointed for this to carry out this function.
Yeah.
Looking at it that way, seeing he put the train up the child in the way he should go. But this is God, this is the Lord, the overall spirit saying this thing. Yes. So looking at who is talking in that passage, all of us supposed to be the child that comes from that spirit. Yeah. So when he's saying that, train up the child, who should do the training? Seeing that all of us supposed to come from, is coming from.
Who is he talking to?
Yes, who is he talking to? Seeing that we are supposed to be the children of God, which we know that is that spirit that brought us. Yeah. So when he put the train up the child, who is that person that has the ability to train another person, which he didn't bring? Mm-hmm. You understand? He didn't know how the person came about. Yeah. It was brought by that spirit. Are you sure that he's talking to you? Mm-hmm. You understand? Is he talking to any of us? Because even in Psalms 120, I believe Psalm 127, he said, children are the heritage of the Lord.
Before he even started, he said, except the Lord build the house.
Yes.
And the building of the house, like we have said in one of the moments, is every of the training, every of the teaching that you are giving a child.
Yes.
A child, because every person you see come as a child.
Yes.
That is why in this scripture now, I said, train up a child in the way he should go.
Yes.
It is to everybody.
Yes.
No matter how you big, you come as a child.
Yes.
And that's when they start to train us.
Yes.
And in the training that they give us is what they prepare. So every teaching you are giving to somebody is building the person.
Yes.
Remember when we talked about a temple made with humans' hands?
Yes.
And I said that any of the training that you give to somebody, any of the teaching that you give to somebody, and the person imbibe in that teaching is to build the person.
Yes.
So, today we don't know that the house that the Spirit keep talking about is us.
Yes.
We don't know that. Mm-hmm. So when he said he entered into the house of God and saw the activities that was going on, and the activities was activities of buying and selling.
Yeah.
And, carry koboko, no matter how we preach it, and started flocking them.
As the picture painted.
The picture painted, we keep seeing that, we think that is one event that he entered into one synagogue, one edifice, and pursue people.
Yes.
But it's the work of the Spirit that he will do into the man, that is into the heart of the man.
Yes.
Which is the same thing we are going to be talking about today, because it's the same process that is bringing this challenge.
Yes.
So, the building that he's talking about is the body of man.
Yes.
The house that he's talking about is the body of man. Yeah. So when you are talking about except the Lord build the house,
yes,
the Lord is the Spirit that is in charge of everything.
Yes.
It's the Spirit that generated man.
Yes.
But he said, except he is the one that built the house.
Yes.
He said, they labor in vain that build it.
Yes.
So that does not mean that my papa will not put me to school, but to show that it's vanity.
Yes. Yes.
So whatever thing you are doing at that moment, training a child, is vanity.
Yes.
Is vanity.
Yes.
Which is what the clip in the video is beginning with, and said that you cannot prepare a future for your child,
Yes.
but you can prepare your child for the future. That means you can build your child for the future.
Yes.
But no matter how you build the child, you see from the video, you see said that it's in vain.
Yes.
He himself is saying that. So the thing is that if you're building the child will end in vain, why are you building the child?
Yes.
You see?
Why go through all the
it's
stress?
this corny way of, when we say something, when we preach to people, we make a statement that sound like we are saying something. Mm-hmm. But when the light comes, so because we are sitting down here now, I'm trying to explain this thing, reveal this thing based on the revelation that has been given to us.
Yes.
Point this thing out to our world to see where to reason from, where our reasoning should go into. Because when you have a proper reasoning, you'll be able to change the way you are doing things.
Yes.
So that's why I say this time is a time for everyone to bring out their strong reasoning. So when we are talking, each person out there needs to bring out his own reasoning to connect to what we are saying. Mm-hmm. So, except the Lord build the house, he's talking to us.
Yes.
But how is the Lord going to build the house? Is the question that Brother Children asked. Mm-hmm. How is this thing? I think you are the one that even asked. Who is going to do the training? Yeah. Because the Lord is the one that is going to build the house.
Yeah.
But how is he going to build the house? Which will go there?
Yes.
From what I know that he's driving there. But what I'm saying is that every house that is builded, he says, some houses are builded by men.
Yes.
But he that builded all things is God.
Yes.
So when the men are building, they are wasting their time. When God comes, he will break down everything and build. And that thing that is going to build is us. So after our papa and mama don't give us a training to acquire the things of the world, when the God reaches, the time of the God reaches, he scatter them.
Yes.
And build the foundation that will bring the life. Because it's the one that is talking, just like you said. Who is the one that is going to do the work? And who is the child that is talking about? Because all of us today in the world, we are the child, or we are supposed to be the children of God.
Yes.
Yes.
We are not supposed to be the children of any man.
Yes.
And that I need to put out, because today in our world, you see, everyone has carved his own territory.
Yes.
From when we were talking about incest, we say everybody dwell under incest.
Yes.
And as long as all of us are coming from that foundation, it means we are brothers and sisters.
Sisters, yes.
And who is the father of all? Is God.
Yes.
So if the Spirit is the one saying this, he's saying this to his children.
Yes.
Yes.
So you cannot come because you sleep with a female and a child is formed and you claim ownership over the child.
Yes.
So you think because you have claimed ownership, you have the right
To
to train the child. That is why the Spirit has been showing us. No matter how they give us the training, when he reaches where the God will start his work, he will just begin the work with the young people,
Yeah.
whether it's the female, whether it's the male, and make sure the child doesn't answer to the parent again. He's answering to him.
And to look at that Bible portion we read, the training of the child, so that it will not depart from it. And the emphasis there is so that it shall not depart from it.
Yes.
So that the departure is where the thing comes in.
Yes.
If any training you do as a man, it's not even the aspect of if you want the child to be a doctor, later on it will change to be something else. That's not what it means.
Yeah.
The departure is that child, for the child to stay, and whatever the child will do will continue with the child. It has to be him doing that work.
Yes.
Knowing that there's no man that can train, there's no training that can give to any man that will make the person to stay. That automatically tells us that we are not the one.
So the
to
departure is from the life.
Yes.
So that you will not depart from the life that is
Yes,
on.
yes,
You understand? Because
yes.
the training of God given to humanity
Is to bring life.
supposed to bring life to them
that will
and
stay.
keep them
Yes.
alive.
Yes.
So, but when we are now training the children or the child, not according to the purpose of life,
Yes.
you see the people will depart. So
Yes.
the departure is from leaving that state of God
Yes.
to the state of death.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is only God can do the training that will stay.
It's actually a process.
Yes.
From before you come in, from the way you summarize it, you can see their own departure is in terms of the money.
Yes.
Because when you give the child the money
Yes.
or whatever thing you give the
Make
child,
wealth
he will
and-
waste it.
Yes.
So for that is he has depart from whatever future you were trying to
Yes.
prepare.
Yes.
So our own future
Is
is when we are gathering these things.
even you that has that thing, why don't you stay and maintain it?
Because we
You
want to
understand? You
depart.
cannot blame the child, even though you lavish the whatever you left for the child. It's likewise you that you are supposed to stay and maintain it, but you don't have the capacity or the ability to do that. Why blaming another person?
Why would even stay something that is vanity?
It's actually a process. I wanted to pitch in when you made mention of what he talked about, how at the end, no matter how much you train the child for the future, he says at the end it's still vanity.
Yes.
I wanted to pitch in and say that it's vanity because of who is doing
The
the training.
Yes.
That's what makes that endeavor a vanity.
Yes.
Because it's not the training that God is talking about.
Yes.
But then again, in response to what Sister Yuti pointed out, as when the child is old, he shall not depart from it. And I said it's a process. Because when we send a child to school, we say we are sending the child to get an education.
Yes.
And according to the dictionary, education can be described as the gradual process of acquiring knowledge.
Yes.
That is what education has been defined, or that's what education entails. And for you to get that education, you need to go to school. Though there are some that will now describe the school as an educational institution, then there are those that will now describe the school as a place where you get that educational training. But based on all we have been talking about, not necessarily on the issue of school, but on certain issues, especially the issue of the church, about how the church is not a building which is built by mortar and brick. That even before the church becomes a building of mortar and brick, it's first a person.
Yes.
Then by extension, a building by mortar and brick, because somebody or a person must have a place you would stay.
That is according to men's standard.
Yes.
When you talk about the church, men's standards that they are looking at the building with mortar and brick.
Yes.
But when it relates to the spirit, the church is first the body.
Yes.
And the body of one person first, before what can be done on the others.
Yes.
So even for that person, the church is him, and in extension where he is, because he's going to operate out of somewhere.
Yes.
So, but it's not the place where he is that is the
makes
church. It's not the place that makes him the church.
Yes.
He is the one that makes the person. So actually, the church is the person.
Yes.
So in terms of the school, now you get why. So you get why I'm painting that
Yeah,
picture now.
somebody has to
When
be
they are
there.
talking about sending a child to the school for the purpose of education,
Yes.
for training,
Yes.
you now see that the sole purpose of the school is to train a child,
To
to
impart
show
knowledge
the
into-
child how he should go.
Yes.
But just as usual, when we talked about marriage as a concept of the spirit and marriage as an institution of man,
Yes.
school as well, we can look at it as a concept of the spirit and
Yes. Institution.
an institution of man.
Yes.
So what the institution of man has established is that you send a child to an institution which is the building
See if there's
with
nobody.
a collection of masters,
Yes.
ignoring the instruction of the spirit of call no man your master.
Yes.
That's because we all as men, we can't be masters to each other
Yes.
because we didn't bring ourselves.
Yes.
So the person who should be the master is God, which was what was spoken about or emphasized on in the book.
Yes.
Yes.
But the institution of man, as usual, has gone against that and established
Masters.
the school.
Even go there to
establish-
acquire the master degree.
establish the masters, where the children are now subjected to learn of the things of men
Yes.
from men.
Yes.
So that is what the institution of man has done.
Yes.
But when we talk about the school or schooling as the concept of the spirit, you still see, following the line of the church and marriage, that it is somebody who we are supposed to go to
Yeah.
In order to have the
in
knowledge.
order to get that knowledge which is of God.
Yes.
And the question now is, which I'm sure most of us are beginning to see, is that we can't get the way of God. We can't locate the path of God from following the institution of man.
Yes.
The schooling institution of men.
Yes.
We can't do that.
Yes.
What we get from the schooling institution of men are the things and ways of men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was why, if you remember earlier, we talked about what the school system does, that the school system indoctrinates you into the paths and way of the system of man.
Yes.
Because when you go to the school, all you are being taught is how you can continue fueling the
System.
system of man.
Yes.
And when, for some reason, you go against that system or you go against that doctrine which goes on in school, you are tagged an outlaw. You are tagged as an insubordinate person because maybe, just as you described that there are those who see in part, maybe you just happen to see in part to realize that this isn't the way. And when you bring up that your kind of reasoning that looks like you're contending with the system will cut you down.
Yes.
Because as man, you are meant to function as man in the system, of man.
Yes.
So the only way you can function in a way that is not of man is when the person of God is on ground to show you how to function in a way that is not of man. And you can't function in that way in the system of man. That's why he must be on ground, because he's going to establish his own foundation in which you can now establish or function in that his foundation according to his principle. So when we talk about, how will I put this? When we talk about what the school system is doing, because we can't talk about school without talking about what we are seeing or facing in the current system of school.
Yes.
We talk about how
that's what it is.
we talk about how going to school is the bedrock of education. But you ask yourself, if schooling, the way we have described it to be as men, was so important and necessary for the development of a person,
Taxing the person.
for the development of a person,
Yes.
how come everybody is not opportuned to go through school?
Yes.
If it was so necessary, based on the way the man has established the school system to be,
Yes.
how come are we now taxed in the form of having to pay for fees
To obtain the knowledge.
to obtain that knowledge?
Yes.
And to see that your well-being is not what is important.
Yes.
When
Money.
you can't pay those fees, you are kicked out.
Yes.
The money that is important.
That shows you what is important.
The money.
Yes.
That shows you what is important. So you can see that the institution of man as the schooling system of man has no bearing with the way of God.
life.
It's a wrong,
let's
it's
look
a
at-
wrong
It's the money,
foundation.
it's the money that is important, because if you look at the world today, everybody is complaining.
Yes.
Like the young man video that we were watching that just said, tell me, why do you make me spend my 4 years in school acquiring nothing? He has gotten certificate.
Yes.
Because there's no how you finish, you will not get the paper certificate.
Yes.
But to show you that the purpose of why you go to school doesn't supposed to just be to collect certificate.
Yes.
But for us, it's the certificate.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you want to go your way, at the end of the day, you don't collect your certificate. Somebody will tell you, you did not go to school.
Yes.
So that is to say, we are going to school because we need the certificate to be able to acquire that future
Yes.
that we talked about. But you see, we keep talking about this thing, bringing them based on the light that has come to shine to us
Yes.
from the very Bible that everybody carries.
Yes.
He said, take no thought for tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't plan for tomorrow. For tomorrow will take thought of itself.
Yes.
But you know, you born into a household that the first thing your parent will do is to take you to school to be able to have certificate
For the future.
for the future.
Yes.
Which is what the video is talking about.
Yeah.
You have a certificate to be able to have a job, to have what to earn a living with.
Yes.
Many of us died here. A lot die in the school.
Yes.
But you see, when you are talking about school, you have it in the system today. We have it as a saying in the world that education is not going to school.
Yes.
We have it.
Yes.
Education is not going to school. It means the purpose of going to school supposed to be educated.
Yes.
You need to be educated into something.
Yes. Yes.
But that is why you talk about the concept of the spirit.
Yes.
You're supposed to be you get educated into something.
Yes.
But now, because we choose our own way of being educated, we want to be educated into something
Yes.
that we choose, that we want to drive the future with.
Yes.
Not the one that God wants us to drive the future with.
Yes.
Because God is the future.
Yes.
He knows the one that what He planned for us
Yes.
and how we are supposed to walk to enter into it.
Yes.
But we
Which is the
cannot walk
training.
our way to enter into it.
Yes.
That is why somebody will tell you to prepare, is to prepare the child to the future. So when we are talking about education is not going to school, but if you look at the way we take going to school to be today, it has become a bedrock of, as you said, the only means of a child getting educated.
Yes.
And our being educated is go and learn how to speak well, then have certificate, then come out, blow grammar, show the people that you are educated.
And you have sense.
But what do you really learn that's supposed to turn you into that life that you will not depart from?
Yes.
According to the standard of God. That shows you that there is no man, as you said, that is qualified to do the teaching. The teaching, because if you go to school, it means you are supposed to be taught, or there's something that's supposed to be imparted into you.
Yeah.
And that thing now will make you to live a life that you will not depart from the way of your creator.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you see that in the human school, today is not so.
Yes.
It is said in the Bible that seek ye first
The kingdom.
the kingdom of God
And his righteousness.
and his righteousness.
Yes.
Now, the things that we seek in this world, when a child is born, is first you put the child into school.
Yes.
The child run the school after how many years? Maybe get the certificate, have a job, have money, marry a wife,
Have children.
have children, buy car, build house, then
Make money.
maybe luckily for you, you have stayed a lot after to achieve all those things, then die. Then die. You don't even stay to take care of the things that you,
Yeah. No.
we don't stay to take care of the things. So that is our pursuit. And coming from the source of what you said, the last point you made, the school that we go to show you that it's not that they want to teach us something, because it's a means of survival.
Yes.
When you don't have money, they will drive you away.
Yes.
Now, even if you have money, are you seeing the wickedness of man? That the knowledge that we have, we are now putting the knowledge in the school. And if you want to have that same knowledge that the Spirit has brought to me, you need to come and pay me money so I can teach you
Knowledge that was given
that
to you
knowledge
for free.
that was given to me
For free, oh.
for free. Do you see what happened?
Madness.
So these are things to look at. That is why the system of the school cannot work. Somebody said that school is a scam.
Yeah.
And they were mocking the person. I met somebody that said, you can't say school is not a scam. A grown-up man who has children there, they were arguing. He said, no, that person that sing that song, the song is true. That school, looking at the situation today, is a scam. It's a scam.
Yes.
A scam in the sense that how can someone pass you through those years, to bring out whatever thing they bring out in you that cannot lead you to anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even if it leads you to anywhere, the only way it will lead you to is to have a job, then build a house, just acquire this vanity, finish.
Nothing else.
So it still shows that it leads you to nothing.
Yes.
The school system of man has even created a conflict of identity.
Yes.
Because the spirit who brought each and every one of us, which we keep emphasizing as the spirit of the Lord, brought us so in the hope of bringing God
Yeah.
to lead us in the world. So definitely, he brought us to be blank.
Empty.
I don't know if you get me. He
Yes.
brought us to be blank.
Yes.
So when God is introduced, God can now teach us how to live. Let us know the purpose for which we were brought.
Yes.
But then again, because man is what comes first before God,
Yes.
definitely man can remain blank
Yes.
till God comes.
Yes.
Yes.
And the Spirit of the Lord, knowing that, allowed man to go in a way that has now been described as the way of man.
Yes.
He gave man the ability to investigate and figure out how certain things work.
Yes.
which we have talked about. So he now discovers certain things, understands how certain things work, things which he didn't bring, things he didn't create, things he didn't manufacture. He now discovers how they work. He now acquires knowledge of how certain things operate. And the next thing he does is to establish an institution that says, for you to get this knowledge, which has been given to me freely by the Spirit that brought us,
You come and pay me.
you would have to pay me for it. And to show that the knowledge, just as we have stated, that the knowledge that we claim to be important, that we are passing down, is not what's important. That is the money. That's why when you don't have the money, you are kicked out.
Yeah.
But then again, to show you how crazy and corrupt man is before his system, as an extension of him, is corrupt, you can see that schools which men are trying to make us believe is the foundation of education.
Yes.
We have public schools, we have private schools, we have various kinds of
It's
schools.
not just one.
And when you go to those schools, you see how they are. There's the public school. Someone who goes to the public school and someone who goes to a private school, which they refer to as Ivy Leagues or Ivy colleges or Ivy high schools or all that. When they step out, you both went to school,
Yes.
but the kind of school you went to now trumps the kind of school this guy went to, and it now looks like the knowledge is not the same.
Which is
It now looks like you can't talk to me, or you can't classify where you went to our school.
yes.
That's what's going on. The pride of life.
Yes, that is what I wanted to say. I wanted to say those things must fulfill that scripture that talks about all
It's the
that
pride
are
of
in the
life.
world.
So that's why I said man is corrupt. So in extension, his system will be corrupt.
Yeah.
So something now that was introduced, because don't forget, we said men didn't originate anything by themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the Spirit of the Lord that
Brought it.
and introduced man into it.
Yeah.
So schooling as well was not what man came up with on his own.
Yeah.
Just as I said, the Spirit of the Lord brought man to be blank till God is
Expected man to be blank.
or rather expected man to be blank. But because God hasn't been introduced, he now allowed man to venture into certain things.
Yes.
So even the idea of introducing schools to pass down those knowledge was still introduced by that Spirit of the Lord. But man in his nature and being corrupt has corrupted that practice.
And that's why he puts there that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
But,
See,
but the thing is that why should we be destroyed for lack of knowledge? Because if all these things we acquire is knowledge, it doesn't suppose to say we are destroyed.
Yes.
Remember, we talked about from the Bible that he said there is the knowledge of the tree of good and evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've said that the tree of good and evil is man.
Yes.
So when we are running around this knowledge, try to acquire knowledge from men, that is what makes us now to be able to discern what is good and what is evil.
Yes.
Because we are taking a knowledge from a source that we don't supposed to,
Yes.
which is now where the choosing one, the one that come as God himself, is now going
The
to be
tree
the
of
one
life.
that will now bring the life.
Yes.
No matter how we acquire the knowledge, we can't get life.
Yes.
Because that knowledge that we acquire in the world from people can only turn to the knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah.
And that is what we were warned. We were warned about that.
Yes.
But we are still eating it. When we talk this thing, people think that this thing is a past event.
Yes. They even tell you that why you should know what is good and what is evil. You understand?
So looking at today, what we do in the school even monopolize
The knowledge.
the awareness that the Spirit is trying to bring out from people.
Yes.
Because when you see somebody that know how to operate a body today,
Yes.
which they teach them as a department in the school,
Yes.
it's a course in the school.
Yes.
We forgot that when this operation started,
Yes.
the knowledge was given to somebody,
Yes.
and there was no school.
Yes.
And the person now know something happened. The Spirit introduced an idea into a person to know how to go into a body, open the body and check what the problem was and remove whatever the issue is and seal it back.
Yes.
And give it time, and the place now
heal.
heal
Heal
up.
back.
Yes.
So it means that knowledge was given by the Spirit
Yeah.
Yes.
to man
Yes.
without anybody paying the man.
Yes.
This goes to everything that we see today as a department is in school.
Yes.
So the person now that the Spirit give the knowledge, the school now say no, the system now say no, we need to monopolize this thing.
The people should
And
come
now
and pay.
take it to the school.
Yes.
Anybody now that will now come and go into maybe becoming a doctor, you need to now come and pay money.
Yes.
But you know, that also forces a lot of person to try to take something that was not given to them.
Yes.
You can see a lot of quack, we call them quack doctors today, because it is not what the Spirit has introduced into you.
Yes.
It is what men are trying to force into you.
You can buy it with money.
You can't compare the person that is forcing himself to learn this thing as the one that the Spirit just give to him.
Yes.
Because even the people going to school to learn how to become a doctor, there are those that the Spirit introduce it into them.
Yes.
So even when they are going to the school, you see that they are smart than those who also go to them, but that is to the school. But it's like the Spirit does not approve them to this field.
Yes.
They are there. So what I'm saying is that this monopoly of knowledge has now make monopoly of knowledge. Like call it monopoly of knowledge.
Yeah, that's what it
Because
is.
it has now make things that the Spirit supposed to do to be tied, to be like the Spirit is not working what it's supposed to work again. Because he who introduced everything from the beginning without a school knows the reason why he introduced them.
Yes.
So is there anything wrong? What is wrong in man knowing what is good and evil? Is it not even better?
What
I mean, in the reasoning of man,
okay.
he has come to know good and evil.
Yes.
Is it not beautiful to know what is good so that you will now apply it and get a reward from knowing what is good?
If you look at it, we all believe that man was chased away from the garden because he ate of some kind of fruit.
Yeah.
But when you read the account of that Genesis critically, and again based on what we have now come to encounter,
Yes.
you see that man was chased away from the garden because he came to know what was good and evil.
And evil.
Yeah.
So what?
So you ask yourself,
Yeah.
if knowing what is good and evil as to man
Yes.
is such a nice thing,
Why?
why then was he now chased away after getting to know what good and evil was? And if you look at it again, there was a kind of sarcastic statement afterwards. He said he has come to be like
One of us.
one of us.
Yes.
So let us chase him away.
Before he put forth his hand
Stretch forth his hand to eat of
and
the
take off
tree
the tree of the fruit
life.
of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Yes.
He said he now drove the man away.
You know why I said it's sarcastic? Yeah. That's because of what we have come to see now.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's just like saying that he has now come to know what good and evil is,
Which is supposed not to.
which he's not supposed to.
Yes.
But based on his own knowledge and understanding, it's nice. So he now thinks that he can design how to live his life to get that eternal reward of life
Yes.
from that his knowledge of good and evil.
That he didn't make.
So that's why I said that statement is sarcastic, because the Spirit seeing that knows that no matter the amount of knowledge you have, you can't get life, because
Yes.
life is with Christ and
Christ
God.
alone.
So that's why he said,
Yeah.
my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because we have said that a knowledge outside the knowledge of God is no knowledge.
Yes.
So what man knows is in that his circle of good and evil, which he came to acquire by force, because he
Yes.
wasn't supposed to do that.
Yes.
So, with all that you have said so far,
Yes.
there is a question that I want to ask concerning this school issue.
Yes.
Because with all what you have said concerning school, how we have monopolized the knowledge of God and have now subjected men to pay to acquire the knowledge that was released freely.
Not from God.
Or
Not,
from
not,
the
the,
spirit
not,
of
not the
creation.
knowledge of God.
Okay, the spirit of creation.
Yes.
Does that mean now that if school is free, that it is now okay? I would like you to clarify that for me.
School, just as we have talked about, has this concept from the Spirit that originated it,
Yes.
which is the Spirit of the Lord.
Yes.
And if we read from Isaiah 54, verse 13,
Yes.
just to compress what was said there, he said that we will be taught of the Lord.
Yes.
And
Great.
we have tried, and great will be the peace of thy children when they will be taught
From
of the Lord.
from that statement you just made, just showed that what we are doing is not school.
Yes.
Because the school that we are talking about, what is school is not this thing that humans are doing.
Not the institution of
So
man.
that is what makes it wrong.
Yes.
Because first, we are saying whether they make it free or not, that man does not supposed to establish anything without God coming to establish it.
Yes.
which is where I'm driving Isaiah 54 from.
Yes. Okay.
Because we have talked about how is a concept to the Spirit and an institution and idea to man.
Yes.
And her question is, if school as an institution of man were to be free, does it make it good? Which is what you're saying, that irrespective of whatever way it turns out to be, free or not, as long as it's of man,
Yes. The person
it's
that-
not
Yes.
It's not relevant.
not in accordance, it doesn't count. So I'm now saying that what even makes it so, free or not as well, is because the concept of the Spirit is that God is who we teach, everyone.
Which is the school we are going to.
which is what the school represents.
That's
That
where
is the
everybody
school we are
should
going
go.
to be talking about.
Yes, because in Isaiah 54 verse 13, I said we are going to compress what it says. It said that the Lord said that all thy children will be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
children.
And we have said that the Lord is that Spirit of
Creation. Yes.
in absentia of a body,
person. Yes.
a person.
Yes.
That when you see the Lord,
Which is the word.
which is the word, you are just seeing that Spirit.
Yes.
Then when we see the Lord God, that now shows when that merger between that word and God, which is that body, has occurred.
Yes.
So in John 6:45, this time now in fulfillment of that prophecy which was spoken of by Isaiah,
Yes.
he says that God now is who will do the teaching,
Yes.
and great will still be the peace of thy children.
Yes.
And that peace can only come when it's God doing the teaching. So it just shows you who is meant to train up the child from Proverbs 22.
Yes.
That it's God.
Yes.
And don't forget, we have established that that statement was made by the Lord.
Yes.
So now God is now who he was actually referring to as who would
the
come
training.
to do the training.
Yes.
So now, in response to her question, is this: whether men make their school free or not, who is doing the teaching and training in that institution of men which they have called school? It's still men,
Yes.
still paddling down the knowledge of men
Yes.
on men,
Yes.
and it keeps on going in circles.
Yes.
But when it's the person of God who is now present and he's now going to establish his own foundation to now carry out his own teaching on men
By his own standard, we now get to see the difference.
What school will stand for?
The difference between
The school
of men and the school of God. And we now get to see, just as Brother Kufre mentioned, what the school
Really
is really meant
to serve.
to serve. Because now the school wouldn't become a place,
Yes.
but a person
Yes.
who does
The
the
training,
teaching
yes.
or the training.
Yes.
I hope that's clear enough.
Yes, and the training will be living the life,
Yes.
because the institution of men, the structure of man's system of schooling,
Yes.
is for survival,
Yes.
Definitely true.
Yes.
not for the reality of living a life that will bring you out
Yes.
of calamity,
Yes.
of disaster. That's why when we look at what is happening in our world today, the chaos that is going on, cultism, murders that is going on, these are all products of the system of government of man.
Yes.
It is the responsibility of the government of man to train its citizens
Yes.
to have morality
Speak to the mic.
or to live a life that will bring peace to their fellow citizens.
Yes.
So if you've educated some and they say they are educated and you cannot educate the others, whose responsibility is that?
Yeah.
Who have failed? So the system has failed.
Yes.
Yes.
In the other part, the educated ones, the masses are crying on them. Those that are leaders that went to school. They are crying on them and they are declaring that their government is a failed system because they are not meeting up their demands. They are still suffering.
Yes.
So why did you go to school if you cannot meet up the sufferings of the people? Now, to the other people that are not educated,
Let me just pinch you and pinch what you are saying before you go on.
okay,
In the real sense, everybody is educated.
No, the system of man has made it in a way that if you didn't go to school, that means you're not educated. And they made it in a way that if you didn't acquire the worldly, if you didn't attend the worldly school system,
Yes.
you are not smart, you're not intelligent.
Yes.
They will tag you illiterate.
Yes.
You see,
That's what I'm saying. In the real
the
sense,
system that we run has proven that wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Because
saying-
when you look at the society, you see that there are a lot of people that did not go to school. They are even the one running the system
Yes.
today.
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. In the real sense, everybody is educated.
Yes.
Because, we have described education as the process of acquiring knowledge.
Yes.
Then you look around the world today, you see that everybody
Has knowledge.
has a form of knowledge.
Yes.
So definitely everybody is educated.
Educated,
But just as what Akufre said, and as what Akabelos mentioned from this behind the scene, the system is now what. Okay, let me put it this way: the system is now what determines who is educated or not. Whether when you go through the schooling system, acquire certificates and a lot of stuff, they are now tagged as being educated. Whether or not you have an idea of what is written under your paper as certificate,
Or not.
you are tagged as being educated.
Yes.
Then those who didn't go through that schooling institution
yes.
or that schooling system are tagged as illiterate, as those who aren't educated.
Yes.
So that's what the school system does. While in the actual sense, everyone is educated. So is the judgment of the system that now determines who is educated or not.
I think that's why they're saying now that education is not going to school.
Yes.
Indirectly meaning that everybody is educated.
Or
Without-
can be educated
without going
to the
that
institution
institution,
of man as going to school.
Yes.
And just to mention this, because we have been talking about how the child, when he is old, he will not depart from the knowledge.
Yes.
I want us to look at it from this angle. When a training commences or when the training begins, that training has a point where it ends.
Yes.
And that actually is with man.
Yes.
Because with God,
It's everlasting.
you keep on training, you keep on learning every day for eternity.
Yes.
So, but with men, the training has where
It ends.
it ends.
Yes.
So when he's saying that you train up a child in the way he should go, so when he is old, he shall not depart from it. He shall not depart from it.
Yes.
And we have been taught by the school system of man that when shall is used in a statement that is talking about a future, is a future tense.
Yes.
Shall not depart from it. And I'm saying that we should look at it from this angle, that you are training a child, and when he's old, so he shall not depart from what you have trained him on. But what that statement, as it relates to the spirit, is actually saying is that whatever training you give to a child, especially when it's of the spirit, that ode that he's referring to, or that ode that was put there, is just like simply saying that when he holds onto that training
Yes.
which you give to him,
Yes.
he shall not depart from it.
Yes.
Because with the spirit, you keep learning. That's what you say. He doesn't just snap his finger and give you life.
Yes.
You undergo a process,
Which is the training.
which is that training,
Yes.
to see if you qualify to have that his life.
Yes.
So what he's just simply saying is that when he's old, meaning when he holds
Get
onto that
used to.
training,
Yes.
when he holds onto that training, which I will give to him,
Yes.
he will not depart from
from
it.
it.
Yes.
But with men, it's not possible.
Yes.
So definitely that statement is not referring to men, which we have now clarified. So we can now see this as an added bonus to point out to why that statement is not referring
So, man.
to man.
Yes.
So the system of man's government, when we look at it today, is a failed system. The schooling system
Yes.
is a failed system.
Yes.
Because the picture of what is going on in the world today, people are complaining.
School shootings.
Students killing their fellow students.
Yes.
This is as a result of that structure, that schooling structure.
Yes.
It has failed.
Parents not wanting their
Withdrawing their kids from school
Yeah.
because
Parents-
of what is going on.
parents not wanting their words or children to be taught certain things
Yes.
because they want their children to be taught in a certain way.
Yes.
But the question is, if you want your child to be taught in a certain way, why then put him in that institution, and you now want to bend the institution to make
follow it,
them
yes.
follow your own path?
Yes.
Because you're paying them.
You can as well just keep your child at home and
Train this.
train him the way you want.
And that does not also mean that we are right. Because
It doesn't
because
still make it right.
What we are looking at based on the light that has now come,
Yes.
it's not really the school that we go to. But it begins from here.
Yes.
That is begin from there.
Yes.
Because when you are talking about the school, there is a pursuit. There is something that we are pursuing in the school.
Yes.
And whether somebody engineer a school or maybe build a school to teach us that thing, or whether we stay in the house to learn those things, it's the same thing.
It's still of man.
Yes.
Because sometimes you see that they are the one that they call homeschooling.
Yes.
So whether it's homeschooling, whether it's school schooling, it's still the same.
Yes.
So what God is saying right now is that the system that we are running is wrong.
Yes.
Because what we pursue is that knowledge that are vanity.
Yeah.
So all this concept of school,
The idea.
all these concepts of school that we have in our world, whether it's at home, whether it's in the school that you go to be schooling, they are all wrong. Because what we're supposed to be taught is not the things that they are teaching us there. That is what makes it wrong.
Yes.
So the change that God is talking about right now is based on that foundation that we were built.
Yes.
Look at what we do in the system, what we call school. You go, you get certificate, and the system say when you come back, you have a better job.
Yes.
And you come back with the certificate, you don't see job. Now the question is, you that have maybe job as a Shell MD, does it remove the fact that what you are doing is vanity?
Yes.
It doesn't remove it. To show you that the certificate we acquire is vanity before God, because he who defined this thing is God.
Yes.
So whatever thing we do, whatever thing we acquire, if it cannot bring that life of eternal, it's all wrong.
Okay.
So looking at what we pursued, I would like us to read something in the Bible. Let's read Ecclesiastes 1, 12 to 18.
12.
You see the pursuit of man.
Okay, Ecclesiastes 1:12 to 18. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail had God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit.
Yes.
That which is crooked cannot be made straight,
Yes.
and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I commune with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estates, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit.
Yes.
18 at last. For in much wisdom is much grief,
Yes.
and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
Yes.
Do you hear what he said?
Yes.
At the end of it,
Yes.
he said, he that increases knowledge increases sorrows.
Yes.
Now, the question is, what knowledge are you increasing that is sorrow, that is bringing sorrow?
Yes.
Because if it's the knowledge that he talks about, it will not bring you sorrow.
Yes.
The knowledge that's supposed to bring, that's
Peace.
supposed to come from God, supposed to bring you life,
Yes.
peace. So that is why we said that the knowledge that we acquire in the world is no knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
It's no knowledge.
That's what it is.
So that knowledge of good and evil is what we run around for.
Which is the
And that's
one
what is
bringing
causing the
sorrow.
That's what is causing the sorrows.
Yes.
So it shows you that without God, there is nothing we achieve that will make meaning.
Yes.
So every purpose will be defined when God is around.
Yes.
That is why we say that school as man, based on the institution of men,
Yes.
is where you go to just acquire this knowledge of how to become this, how to
fit in
become
the
this,
world.
how to be just the activities of the world,
Yes.
how to grab the things in the world, finish.
Yes.
Because if you look at what we are going to school to learn, is what we use to show another person that we are more than you.
Yes.
But what God will come to teach us, which is now the school that show you that to be educated is not going to human school.
Yes.
Because if you say that education is not going to school, that statement, it shows that education will also be gotten from school.
Yes.
But where is school?
Yes.
Where is school?
Yes.
Where is school need to represent where God is.
Yes.
Because it is until God is around, you cannot have where school is.
Yes.
Now, who is the teacher that will teach you in the school?
Yes.
That is the reason why we need to bring out, when he's talking about train up a child in the way he should go. Because it's the teacher now that he's talking to.
Yes.
He has warned us, call no man your master.
Yes.
That's because nobody is qualified to become a teacher.
Yes.
Because if you call anybody a teacher or you subject yourself to any other man to teach you, he will still go back to that same thing that I said, except the Lord build the house.
Yes.
The labor in vain that build it.
Yes.
Because this thing they go around to achieve one thing.
Yes.
You are building a house, you are giving somebody a teaching, you are giving somebody a knowledge, just to make sure the person come out with a kind of position,
Yes.
or a
Lifestyle.
state that you want the person to come up. But God will come and scatter the whole thing you have achieved.
Yes.
So he is the one that will now bring a teaching, and that teaching, when he enters into you, he just brings that thing that Chidubem said, it stays.
Yes.
You can't go out of it, because
Yes.
it will introduce you into a way of living, a way of life
Yes.
that will stay forever.
Yes.
It's not school that you go 4 years. Now 4 years is even cheap.
6, 17,
years.
16.
16 years, 22 years.
Yeah.
Even some
One of my mom's brother done 18 years and
Chasing-
finished and died.
Chasing what you don't even
He
understand.
died.
But not the funny thing. God now comes in, and men have acquired a lot of knowledge from various forms of teaching and everything. Which is why if you refer to the scripture, he was telling the people, supposedly, that destroy this temple, and in 3 days, I'll raise it up.
Yes.
And now we have described that the temple is referring to the body of man.
It's man.
It's man, actually.
Yes.
And him asking man to destroy that temple, it's just like telling man to do away with all you have come to know and acquire outside
all
of me.
you have used your heart to establish.
Outside
No.
of me.
Yes.
Do away with that. And I will be the one to build you.
Yes.
But unfortunately, just as you can see the response, how do you expect us to scatter what we have spent centuries and decades building for an empty promise of something you will do in 3 days? They couldn't fathom how possible that is. But a statement was made to me a couple of years ago. He says, with men, they describe an illiterate as someone who doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
But just as we have said, everybody actually knows something. Everybody is educated. But it's a system that now determines, based on their own judgment, who is educated and who is an illiterate. The statement was, to the spirit, an illiterate is someone who has known a lot of things outside of God, and has laid hold or let those things have a hold on him, and is unable to do away with those things,
To embrace the part
to
of
embrace the part of God.
Which is
And
where
it was made
knowledge is.
and it was made in simple terms and said, an illiterate is someone who can't unlearn what he has learned outside of God to learn from the part of God.
So from what you just said, we need to look at what is the purpose of being educated, because the going to school that we said, education is not going to school.
Yes.
It means if we are going to school, we're supposed to get educated.
Yes.
So, and from what we read, which the pastor uses that video, he said, train up a child in the way he should go,
Yes.
so that when he is old, he shall not depart from it.
Yes.
So it means in the training has a purpose that is supposed to be achieved at the end of it.
Yes.
So let's look at the training now, which has to do with God, who's supposed to do the training. Because in the very Bible portion that you quote before, in that Isaiah 54. From 13. So I would like us to read there, because when you read there, you see the purpose of that life that it talks about.
That's Isaiah 54 verses 13. Are we there?
From 13 to 17.
Okay, I read. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. 14. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. 15. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the water to destroy.
The waster.
Sorry, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is...
Hold it for that 16 first. When you read this account, the Lord is the one speaking here.
Yes.
The spirit of creation is the one showing you.
Yes.
He's showing you that the system,
Speak
the
up,
way
speak
the
to the
world
mic.
is, the way the world is, he already programmed what is called trouble into man.
The vanity life
That vanity life that we read.
or living. Sorry.
He already put man in a state, in a world that is a world of trouble.
Yes.
Because that trouble need to bring death. That is the end part of man, what we call death, sleep.
Yes.
So it's a big trouble because man is in a state of death. So the teaching of God into a people supposed to now come and bring the man into the righteous way of living.
Yes.
That will bring life.
Yes.
So when he said, I have, how did he put it? 16. Behold, I have created
the smith that bloweth
that
the
bloweth
coals
the coal
in the fire.
in the fire. and that bringeth forth
an instrument for his
an
work.
instrument
For his
work.
And
And I have
And I have created the waster
to
to destroy. He is the one that does that.
Yes.
So, but Enance is telling you that if you leave yourself for him to do the training, the preparation,
Yes.
there is no terror that will come near you.
Yes.
So it means the terror is the one, because we will not be established in peace.
Yes.
There is a peace that will come. Because all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children. So when the Lord is not the one teaching us, and we are running around men trying to build ourselves what we call school,
Yes.
you see this affliction that we have, because we are achieving the pride of life. Just like you said before, the one that go to so school is coming out to show that he's different with the other one that go to so school.
Different from, yes.
Because of that pride of life.
Yes.
I'm achieving so certificate. You are achieving so my own is bigger than your own.
Yes.
And what I know is also important than your own. You see those strife and envy in our world.
Yes.
You can't see peace in the way we live. You can't see peace. So the only way peace will come is when God is involved, because who is involved in this our own teaching? Is man teaching or learning things because he wants to be great than another.
Yes.
That is what you see in our world. But when God comes, his teaching humble everybody and bring everyone into that righteous way.
Yes.
And that will automatically establish the peace that we all desire for.
Yes.
So there's no way we can have peace in this world if we are still believing in this system. There's no way.
So seeing what you are describing now and what you have been saying, the whole knowledge that we acquire in the world is supposed to be towards life.
Yes.
Because looking at how to achieve wealth, how to build a house, how to, whatever things that is going on in this world, you can see that the Spirit of the Lord that brought man brought those things.
Yes.
To sustain man.
Yes.
So this way we are going about to go to school in order to know how to harness those things, how to acquire them. He's supposed to be the one who has the right, who brought us, that we're supposed to listen to know how we should follow up these things in order for us to stay and enjoy them. So the whole knowledge of this world is how man's supposed to stay, supposed to be towards life. But there's no one that has that light, because you cannot give what you don't have. Yes. So the thing was reserved for the one who is this God that's supposed to guide us, supposed to train us on how we can get these things and use them according to the purpose of what that thing is supposed to serve in us. That's why he stated in the Bible that we should seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, for all these things shall be added. Before all these things that they listed, which are the things the first thing we are doing in this world. We are looking for how to acquire things, how to wear clothes, how to achieve whatever.
Those are not even all the things that he said it will be added to us.
Said
But
what to eat,
Yes.
what to wear,
and
and
what to drink. Well, but our own
That
we
is the
extend
three
to.
things that he
Yes.
mentioned. But in the world today, from what you are saying, that is not what we are even seeking.
It's more than, you understand? Because we are looking for, in the process of looking for what to eat, that extends to what you wear, what you drink, and a car you drive, the house you stay. So the excesses follow from that suit. Because the first assignment or the instruction was seek first the kingdom, not even these things. He said this thing will be added, because the God that's supposed to establish this thing for us to key in wasn't there. So we go about establishing those things for ourselves, which is supposed to be the way of life that he put us through in order for us, before this thing can come to us, we see the reason why these things is given to us, for us to live by those things and know the purpose and achieve the purpose why those things were meant to be in our lives.
So the destructive way of giving out knowledge is to make a statement. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. He did not tell anybody to do the training.
Yes.
He made that statement and left it.
Yes.
He knows that man will take it over to interpret it, to implement it. and then he watches the results of the training we do. Is it not the result of crying today?
Yes.
The way the world is today is as a result of the trainings we give to our children.
Yes.
No, but
So
to
who will you
ourselves.
blame?
Yes.
Who will you blame? So because we are doing the training, the children that we say is our child, we are doing the training. He said, okay, do the training, let them grow. But my standard of giving you the life you don't have, which is my life, he now came and declared in Matthew chapter 18, the A part of Matthew chapter 18, verse 1. He said, except ye be converted and become as a little child. That child.
Your voice.
Because you now, you've done your own training of your own child.
Yes.
And the way that child has gone is now bringing you regret. You are now crying for me to come and help you. For me to help you, whether you are an adult, you must be converted and become that child before I can accept you. You must now be willing, just as a child listens to the parents,
Yes.
you must now be willing as an adult to be converted and become a child. A child takes instruction from the parent, from the father. I am supposed to be the father of you people,
Yes.
of you all.
Yes.
So you must be ready to take instruction from me.
And that's where his training begins.
Yes, I've left you. You've been doing your training, but you cannot stay. You have been departing.
Yes.
So for you not to depart, to have a life that will keep existing for eternity, you must listen to the one I choose. Who is God among you? He's the one to do the teaching. He's the one to do the training. You must be ready to be a child before I can accept you.
I've started packing my book because I want us to summarize all we have been talking about.
Let me drive something from that video that we played.
Okay, go on.
The statement said, you cannot prepare a future
For the child.
for your child,
Yes.
but you can help to prepare your child for the future.
Yes.
I am saying, first, no man qualified to have any child as his own.
Yes.
Yes.
No man.
Yes.
That is what we need to correct first.
Yes.
That no man is qualified to have a person that is called my child. That the world need to correct.
Yes.
So that is why when we see the children we have, what all we do, we try to force them to get into the things that God has not designed for them.
Yes.
We try to prepare them to go into a path that is not the path that they are created, because every children that come out from your own loins are the product of the Spirit.
Yes.
So they're all supposed to answer to him
Yes.
when he's around.
Yes.
So when you claim ownership over the children and you are now forcing the children to become a doctor, this one you force this one to become a lawyer, and forgetting that God have said, judge not, and you cannot get judge not as a command, and you are now establishing a child to become a lawyer on how to judge a people, that automatically is removing you from the instruction of your God, your creator.
Yes.
You cannot also say you are running to become a doctor, and doctor is not serving a purpose for God. Because we have said before that if you are praying a prayer as a preacher to a doctor for God to bless the business, the handwork of a doctor, it means that prayer means people should continue to seek so that doctor will continue to make money out of people. But if God appear, God is going to take away sickness from his people and also take away sickness from the doctor. So by the time sickness has been taken away, doctor will not have a job. So that shows you that the things we run around is vanity. So there is nobody that has the capacity to build another person. That is, for now, we need to understand that it is time to end this thing and hand over our way, our cross to God. That's why I say, carry your cross to me and follow me. So everyone need to understand that there is nobody that is qualified to do a training, which is what we are saying here. Nobody is qualified to train anybody except God.
Yes.
So that life can return back to us.
Yes.
So we can say if purpose is not defined, abuse is inevitable.
Yes.
And who is to define purpose? Is the spirit that brought everybody. So you see what we carry on as training is actually going against the very purpose of the God that originated that word training, because the word didn't come from man, but men, because it's written and they can read it, carry on that responsibility which was not given to them. And you see the chaos and the crisis in the system that is going on.
So far, you will see that we aren't actually dwelling on what most people watching this from the beginning, hearing our issue for discussion, our topic of discussion, our school. If you see how we have driven this particular issue, you would realize that what we do at school, or what we introduced at school, it looks like we are trying to talk about how the school system of man can get okay or can thrive. It might have seemed like, okay, let us listen or hear what they have to say about
School.
the issues of the school and how it can be addressed. But so far, you can see that where we have driven this issue to is just pointing to the fact that we have taken up, just as Sister Oduak said, we have taken up a work, we have taken up a job
And God did not establish.
that
Wasn't given to
us, as simple as that. And a job that wasn't given to you, and you took that job upon yourself to do,
Supply it.
it would definitely crush you.
Yes.
That is what we are seeing. So we'll put it this way to summarize and round up all we have been saying. Because as I made a small joke, I said I don't pack my book because we don't talk tire. So we'll put it this way, that school is first of all, or most especially school as it relates to the spirit, refers to the person of God.
Yes.
And that's what the school, that's why it is the school. The school. It's trying to it's trying to singularize, or is a definite something. So the school is referring to the person of God.
Yeah.
And if you realize, all the things, all the issues we touch still points to that person of God.
And he even said that when the Holy Ghost come, he will teach you all things.
Yes. Still the person of God. Yes. We talked about the Holy Ghost and how it's the person of God. Yes. We talked about the church and how it's the person of God. We talked about the storehouse and how it's the person of God. So it just shows you how everything revolves around God.
Yes. And that's how it should be.
And that's how it should be. Everything revolves around God. So the training as well, now we are meant to undergo to bring about peace.
It's
still about God. Because we have stated in our previous episode that peace, everybody is crying for peace, that peace is not a product of man.
It's a prince of peace that brings
peace is gotten when men acknowledge and follow the instructions and principles of God.
Yes.
That's what brings about peace. Yes. So that's why it says he will train the children, and peace.
And great shall be that.
And great rather shall be the peace of that children. Because when you follow that training, which in turn you would hold on to, you will now get to have that peace, which is of God.
Yes.
So there is really not much to say again, really. Maybe we might revisit the issue of the school and look at it from a different angle. Yes. That will make for a fun view. We'll look at it from a different angle. Maybe we even bring about that that comedy video we saw and look at it from that angle and see what we actually do with the things that we have learned from
That's
the structure or system of man.
Yes.
So on that note, I will say we have come to the end of today's episode. And as usual, if you have inquiries, you can reach us via the email addresses on the screen, and we'll be sure to get back to you. And if you would like to join our sessions live, to be a part of it, to ask your questions, or for whatever reason, you indicate that in your mail, and based on what those your inquiries are, we'll establish a video link to have you join us via a video streaming platform, be it Zoom, Google Meet, or Skype. That procedure doesn't require any monetary charge. All you need is your access to the internet, and you can get to be with us. So on that note, we'll say bye for now till we come your way next time.